Sometimes when I express my relativism and stuff, I get these kind of, replies. Like, oh, well, let all the insane people out of the insane asylums then. Everybody's valid. It's like, no. And it's funny because they said, well, what about insane people? Can't be true what you're saying. What about insane people? What about if we're the insane one? That's the thing. It's like my system of thought is entirely designed with the idea that people are kind of, loosely speaking, insane, that we're just getting crazy data all the time. There's just noise. Not one piece is entirely trustworthy. It's not a big deal. It's the 21st century. It's called information theory. You can process data with noise in it. Okay, welcome to the processing data with noise in it revolution. That's what we're going through. A skeptical philosophy is entirely for that. It's for people that find every single thought doubtful. And you guys that with your binary thinking, you're like, but then it's all doubtful. Like there's no ratio. There's nothing to get a hold on. If we point out that, hey, you can't be totally sure. Oh, well, if I can't be totally sure, then I don't know anything. I don't want to know anything halfway or 60% or 90%. Well, okay, because you're fooling yourself. That's what it looks like. The best you've ever done so far. We never saw 100%. You say you need that, but I don't see why we need that. This isn't epistemology for that. Somebody just answered back to me. It's like, oh, skeptic, and you're looking for the source. Yeah, not all skepticism is not nihilism. Okay, it's not like I want to have an excuse for believing in nothing, and I hate mommy. It's just a practical view about information theory. Right? It's a theory about how you try to get knowledge. It's just like people. It's very similar, very analogous to the confusion people have about quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics poses this idea that there might be a little genuine randomness, and then it makes the most accurate predictions to the most decimal places of any system of man ever. Wow, it's all about randomness, and unpredictability. Capturing this idea of randomness, that it was really there, allows us to make really accurate predictions. The irony of it, and that's the point in general. The skepticism, doubt, it's because if you doubt something, then you can subtract out you can find out which part is not just doubtful but proven wrong, and which part is the margin of error, and so on, and it's all to increase your accuracy and the aptness of your modeling in the end. Right? So you guys are so confused about, well, how could you be certain if you're a skeptic? Physics has a skeptical philosophy. Hello? You disagree? Okay. Theory, that's invented. That theoria, as knowledge is theoria. This is propositional cognitive processes. Taking into account the fact that there's error in what you're doing, like your own error bars. Do you guys know? I hope error bar scientists always say, plus or minus. I took this data, it's plus, because they can figure out, I know my ruler only has notches down to 1 millimeter, so it's going to be at least plus or minus 1 or 2 millimeters. And it's heuristical things like this to estimate how much error. And it's not so that you have to admit that you're wrong because you weren't absolutely right. It's so that you can say, look, I'm right. At least within this margin, I could put bounds on my error. At least certain kinds of bounds. There's ways for those bounds to break down. There's blurry edges to the bounds. You have a sigma statistical certainty. It's never 100%. You never have 100% certainty, but you're making statements about probability distributions. And it turns out that this helps you make very apt and effective predictions, models about the material world.